Welcome to the Vegas Insider channel here on YouTube. Kevin Rogers with you as we look ahead to the U.S. Open coming up starting Thursday in Brookline, Massachusetts. And Jay Delsing, former PGA golfer, he is here with us to break down the third major of the season. And Jay, it's good to have you back. We had you on for the Masters back in April, and we got a lot to get to with this. First, I want your opinion on this, the LIV Tour. It began this past weekend, the first event. A lot of controversy there. What are your thoughts on it?
Kev, first, it's great to be with you, Kevin, and thanks for having me. Let's just call it what it is. It's a cash grab. And that's fine. If that's what it is, that's what it is. There's 48 players who are playing a shotgun start. Half the field, and I'm in the weeds in the golf stuff, guys. Half the guys in the field we've never heard of before. And it's almost like some sort of exhibition. No disrespect to Charles Schwartzel for winning the first event and everything. But, I mean, you're going to try to compare that to the Canadian Open that just was played up in Toronto this weekend with Rory, shooting 62 on Sunday. It's just not the same. It's all about the money. And I'm a competition guy, man. I think competition's fine. But, I mean, no one mentioned anything about raising money for charities. Nobody mentioned anything about some sort of business plan and how long this thing's going to be around and why are they really doing it, right? They're not. Is it to grow the game, or is it? So there's a lot of questions unanswered. I just feel like Greg Norman appears really divisive to me, Kevin, really vindictive. He's always kind of had that Jones out for the PGA Tour, and now he can kind of stick this in the PGA Tour's ear and become a complete pain in the ass, and I think he's doing it. And some of the players are making a hell of a lot of dough, man. Phil Mickelson, 200 million. TJ's getting 125 million. I mean, that's life-changing dough right there.
It definitely is, and we'll see them coming up this week at the U.S. Open. I want to talk about some of the favorites with you here, Jay. And two of the favorites, they've won majors this year. Scottie Scheffler, he ended up winning the Masters. Justin Thomas, that exciting victory at the PGA Championship. First, let's start with Scheffler. What are your thoughts here on him? He's at 12-1 to win this week.
Yeah, Scheffler's a real interesting guy because, just his nature, you guys, he flies under the radar, right? I mean, here's a guy that's won 4 times already this year. He's won a major. He contends. He's lost in a playoff. He just kind of has a quiet game. But I like him here. You're going to have a guy that can wear out the short game to win at Brookline. I played Brookline. I played in the U.S. Amateur 100 years ago. And Brookline is a really quirky golf course. There's a lot of rock outcroppings or small greens, blind tee shots. It's an old school golf course. And Scottie Scheffler's definitely got enough game to win there. And it's going to come down with making some crucial putts at the right time and being solid with the rest of the parts of your game, especially in a U.S. Open, man. You have got to be solid off the tee. Brookline, I think you're going to see, Kev, is going to be really, really penal off the tee. If you hit a foul ball, man, you could pay dearly for it.
Now, look at Justin Thomas coming off the PGA Championship. He's at 14-1. You think he could win his second major?
I do. I do. I like JT. He's got the firepower. His Achilles heel is continually his putter. He gets, when he gets hot and putts well, he nearly contends every week. He's one of the best iron players on the PGA Tour. But it's kind of interesting that for him to win at Southern Hills, that's a massively demanding golf course, right? But you're going to go up to the Northeast, and it's going to be a little bit different. Really, really tight fairways, really, really small greens. So Justin Thomas is going to have to be on his game. But look at the way he just closed yesterday at the RBC and up in Toronto. So he's on it. I think it could be a great week for him.
Also at 14-1, Jay, is Jon Rahm. He won the U.S. Open last year, and we had talked about Rahm back when you were talking about the Masters in April. What do you think about Rahm here? A lot of competition here at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, when you're a player as good as Jon Rahm, I mean, if your game shows up that week, you've always got a chance. And so, 14-1 is really, he's one of the favorites. I mean, so he just hasn't had much form lately. Kevin, and I'm an old guy. When we were playing, if I wasn't playing well, it was really not that often that I came to a venue and found my game. And that's why I look more towards Scheffler, who's had the momentum in that kind of year. I look to JT, who's playing well. And then you also got to talk a little bit about Rory.
Yeah, and you look at Rory McIlroy, too. He's always going to be in the conversation with it. Where are you at with Rory McIlroy this week?
It's been 8 years since Rory has won a major Kev. He came on the scene with the PGA Tour, and you're thinking, hell, this guy's got a chance to really do some damage to some of these record books, maybe even challenge Tiger. And he just hasn't had the success in the majors. But he talked about rededicating himself to the game and kind of restarting and resetting things. And there's no better feeling than going out to the golf course after you've won an event. So I haven't won that many, and I didn't win any on the PGA Tour, but I've won plenty of other places. And it's a great feeling. So he'll be riding high. And Rory is a really putter-dependent player, meaning when he goes wrong with his putter, Kev, he slides down the leaderboard fast. So he needs that putter to stay hot, and he'll challenge.
Now, back to the LIV conversation, Jay. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson. What do you think about them? Now they can play in the major. What do you think about them? Do you think all this conversation with the LIV this past week and playing this past week, is it going to affect them or not? We know Phil may not be where he's at, but Dustin Johnson's still a pretty good golfer.
Yeah, DJ's number 13 in the world. I don't see, DJ loves to hit his driver. When we were doing the broadcast for Fox, and DJ nearly won at Chambers Bay before he three-putted 18, and then he did win the next year at Oakmont. I interviewed him each year, and he just hit driver on every hole. He loves his driver. Right now, his driver is going all over the damn place, Kevin. I do not see DJ as a player here. I'm glad to eat my words if he comes in and wins his second U.S. Open, but I do not see him as a player. And Phil Mickelson is going to struggle to make the cut.
Any golfers under the radar that we should keep an eye on for this week?
Yeah, a guy like Kevin Nye, you've got to have you don't necessarily have to be the longest guy off the tee to challenge in a U.S. Open, but you've really got to be straight, and you've really got to be good around the greens in it, and that would bode well for a guy like Kevin Nye. But he's kind of embroiled in all this LIV controversy as well, and his game hasn't been worth a hoot. So, but a player similar to him oftentimes comes in and kind of shows up, and every once in a while sneaks away with a trophy for the U.S. Open. We've had some kind of unusual type winners in the past.
Finally, Jay, who is going to win the third major of the year, win the U.S. Open in Massachusetts this weekend?
I'm going to go with JT, and this is a strictly emotional pick. I really like the guy. He's a great human, great golfer. I love the scene with this being Father's Day. Kevin, every time you see every time you see JT out there, Kevin, you see his dad, and his dad is his coach. And it would be just a phenomenal story if JT were to go ahead and get his third major championship overall, but his second of the year in the U.S. Open.
Jay Delsing, former professional golfer. He is still very embroiled in the golf community, and his breakdown of the U.S. Open right here coming up this weekend, starting Thursday in Brookline, Massachusetts, third major of the year. Jay, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Anytime, Kev. Thank you.
That is Jay Delsing. I am Kevin Rogers. Thanks a lot for watching. And as always, best of luck with your bets.